Receive the guest, receive this heart. Tell the stranger, tell the stranger what you cannot tell those who love you and desire your joy. Make tall your walls, make long these beams, who once believed alone. Make wide the circle, feed the fire, tell the silence, tell the silence what you cannot tell those who love you and desire your joy. Tell. Blessings be upon this place. Let every wound be healed. Let every secret, every dream, tell the angel, tell the angel what you cannot tell those who love you and desire your joy. Welcome, welcome. Peace and grace be to this house. All will be returned. Let every soul be called your own. Tell the mystery, tell the mystery, what you long to tell those who love you and desire your joy. Tell.
Welcome to this space, making room for stillness and beauty wherever you are. Welcome to this time, an hour for slowing down and paying attention. Welcome to this mystery that when we pause and listen, we often find a presence which meets us exactly where we are and leads us where we need to go. We light our chalice this morning to kindle the light in many forms, remembering those who begin the celebration of Hanukkah lights this evening, witnessing those who mark the days towards solstice light, honoring those who travel by starlight through Advent towards the Christmas Eve gift of a child. We kindle the light. We invite it here among us. Blessed be. Our opening hymn is 352, Find a Stillness.
Good morning. Welcome to All Souls Church Unitarian. I'm Shari Gilbert, she, her, and I'm your worship associate this morning. We gather at All Souls in person or on Zoom, accepting each of us as we are today, where we accept all gender identities, sexual orientation, abilities, race, and religion. We gather to celebrate our successes with others, or to seek comfort when in pain. For 201 years, All Souls has gathered to be present with ourselves and others on this day that has been given to us. I'd like to extend a special welcome this morning to those of you who are new to All Souls. If you're visiting us for the first time or still feel new here, please raise your hand in person or on Zoom so that we can give you an All Souls welcome. Are there any visitors? And I can't help but wonder how many people sort of thought, church, soccer game, right? If you are in the sanctuary, the order of service can be accessed by the QR code located on the back of the pew in front of you. Select the code on the right, or you may request a printed program from an usher, where there is also a QR code. For those on Zoom, a link to the order of service is in the chat. Our weekly email newsletter is a great way to stay up to date on all upcoming offerings of the church community. If you're not currently subscribed, sign up through the link on the All Souls website homepage. A link should also be in the Zoom chat. All Souls recognizes that our city and our church was built on lands taken from indigenous peoples. We lament this injustice. The closest village to our church site was Nacotchtank, from which the name Anacostia is derived. The residents were part of the Piscataway group of tribes present in the DC and Maryland region. Those peoples remain in the region to this day. If you're joining us from further away, I encourage you to research the Native people on the land where you reside. And for all of us who aren't native to this land, one way to practice our commitment to the 8th principle is to find out what Native organizing is happening in your area and how you can support it. Now is the time we call beholding. If you're on Zoom, open up your gallery screen and greet each other. We can now see you in the sanctuary. Sometimes. There we go. There we go. Let's turn and wave to our congregants and visitors on Zoom. If you're in the sanctuary, you can get up, move around, and greet each other in a manner that's most comfortable to you. An embrace, a fist bump, or an elbow bump. let's continue our conversations and greetings after the service. And again, welcome to All Souls Church.
Y'all are just so good. Greetings, everyone, on this Solstice Celebration Sunday. I offer a warm welcome on these increasingly cold days. And I also join in wishing a happy Hanukkah to all who observe it starting tonight through December 26th. I want to call your attention to three things happening after service today and just review the worship schedule for the next few weeks. Today, after service, folks online are invited to stay for coffee hour with Gary and a discussion of the provocative question, what might happen if you stopped and stayed still? People in the building are invited to the last day of our holiday fair, which includes another sale of Reverend Louise's new book, Emilio's Very Bright Idea, which benefits the nonprofit organization No Child Goes Hungry. And our monthly online gathering for multiracial families is at 1 p.m. today, focused on sharing holiday traditions from family identities and affinities. It is hosted by Reverend Louise, and the Zoom info is on the website calendar. And now for the upcoming. All are invited to come caroling with All Souls in Columbia Heights tomorrow, Monday, December 19th. Meet at the church at 6 p.m. On Christmas Eve, All Souls will have 2 services, a more family-friendly service at 7 p.m. and a contemplative service at 10 p.m. On Christmas Day, we invite you to join at home or at church at the usual time, 10:30, to watch or rewatch our incredible Christmas pageant service. Reverend Louise and James Plazer will be at the church to greet you. And last but not least, on New Year's Day, January 1st, Reverend Bill Sinkford will lead worship, reflecting on the lessons of Kwanzaa and looking to the upcoming year. We turn now to our congregational concerns. Our thoughts are with Sophia Fisher, whose stepfather, Jerry, has been diagnosed with the spread of cancer to the lungs. We send love and blessings to Sophia, her mom, and Jerry, and the extended family as they discern options around treatment. We are sad as well to announce the death of member Margaret Wilson at age 90 on November 26th at home in Arlington. Margaret was a member of both All Souls and the UU Congregation of Arlington. She was active in our Heiwa Peace Project, went to Japan with that group. Her memorial service will be on Friday, January 27th at 2 p.m. at the Arlington Church. Our condolences are with her family and friends. And finally, a great joy. New members Susanna Cunningham and Ian Magruder welcomed their first child, Mari Elena Magruder, into the world on December 6th. Both mom and dad are already wildly in love with her and can't wait for this community to meet her. So congratulations and love to the whole Magruder family. I invite you now to speak aloud or type into the chat the names of those you carry on your hearts this morning. Our prayer today, our meditation today, is simply to be still and hold a time of sacred silence together.
Our reading this morning is one that I've loved for a while. It took on a new meaning this week when on Tuesday morning I had one of those vivid anxiety dreams that I was in a packed church and there was piano and percussion going, and someone handed me the mic and to sing a solo, Jen, and I thought, do people not understand? I'm not the soloist. And I had this piece of paper that was tangled in my mic cord, and I'm looking at it going, what is the song? What is the song? And when I woke up out of it, I remembered this poem. Do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait patiently there until the song that is your life falls into your own cupped hands. And you recognize and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worthy of rescue. I've been in El Paso twice the last month, thus the anxiety dream on return. First, when my mom had a stroke and then died in hospice care, and again for her memorial. And I thank you for so many kind cards and messages and hugs. I'm so grateful. Tuesday morning, the day of the dream, was my first full return to work. So my mind, body, spirit is still trying to sort out where I am, and I'm glad to be back at All Souls for this season with you. As many of you know well, it's a challenge to fit back into any kind of rhythm after a close family death. You may have spent time in that liminal passage of hospital or hospice rooms where so much of that dense forest of living simply fades away. And time seems to slow down, and your presence is central. We try to tune in to what is most important, which quickly becomes a very short list. In hospice rooms, there is often a kind of clearing, perhaps created in silence or music, in prayer or meditation, this awareness that we have moved into the mystery of living and dying. We enter this same kind of clearing, potentially, in any form of spiritual practice. It could be in a Sunday morning service, or Wednesday Vespers, mindful walking in the woods, or at the beach, meditation, yoga, painting, running, cooking. There's so many ways that we can take a time out from the dense forest of our lives. And there are many ways to interrupt the flow of things to do, just to be, to stop, to find stillness, to listen, to encounter presence and respond. The metaphor of the solstice is beautiful here, this transition between the lengthening of days as it tips towards, the lengthening of nights as it tips towards lengthening of days, that moment when the gradual shift begins. And for millennium, many cultures have marked this time with ancient standing stones or architecture that exactly focuses the solstice light, ritual, music. The Latin root word is solstitium, which literally means sun standing still, as if we might capture that transition moment. Do you ever stop? Do you ever keep still and listen? Wonder what your song is and what is yours to do? The answers might come from intuitive awareness or external spiritual guidance or both, and sometimes the results are most surprising. When my mom had a stroke on November 21st, I had a strong feeling, get on the plane and go. And I'm fortunate for the support of the staff and the congregation to do just that. My sisters and I had this beautiful and challenging time together with our mother at that liminal time when presence is unfolding as life is waning. We each felt moved by a larger presence as well, to offer blessings towards her release and to take different roles in the many, many tasks that followed. I'd like to share a story from this very recent experience of listening and responding. My mom had a large and beloved painting of a woman named Maria del Carmen Rodriguez for many years. To be clear, this is not my mom. This is Maria del Carmen. It was done by Manuel Acosta, a well-known artist in El Paso, and members of Maria del Carmen's family had asked to buy the work when my mom first acquired it, and she declined. She loved that painting. She was very attached to it. This refusal bothered me a lot back then, and over time, perhaps my mom as well. It meant so much to Maria del Carmen's children, and yet we had it. Mom brought the painting up in August and remembered the story. And we discussed it again in October, and she was in hospice all that time, so I felt like she was trying to resolve something. I thought we needed to let this painting go and see if there was any way to find the family. And as a place to begin, I asked if we could donate the painting to the El Paso Museum of Art. And my mom agreed, yet clearly said, wait till after I'm gone. Well, during the following weeks, Maria del Carmen Rodriguez crossed my mind numerous times. I wondered who she was and how we would ever find her descendants. And my internal and external guidance kept repeating, this is your song. This is yours to do. And Joanna Gaines has this to say about presence in her new book, The Stories We Tell. I want to practice presence, not just for the sake of it and not in some aimless way. I think it's more about choosing to lean in when you could easily lean out. Letting something catch your attention instead of brushing it off, and choosing it over everything else, seeing it through. And in the days that we sat in stillness at my mom's bedside, the striking image of Maria del Carmen was present in another room, also watching and waiting, it seemed to me. William James, the 19th century philosopher who some call the first American psychologist, said, experience is what we attend to. And with so many stimuli perpetually pouring in, sometimes it takes a full stop and some silence to attend to what is most important. The painting kept coming to my attention and then became part of my experience as well. When we follow our intuition or the guidance of spirit, we don't need to know the full path. Often the way appears just step by step, and we must trust the road will emerge. When my mom died, the work of sorting her belongings began, and I started with my strong sense to go to the El Paso Museum of Art and meet with a curator about donating this painting. Last week I had that meeting, and I also asked if anyone on staff would possibly know something about the family. They weren't sure, but they planned to ask others. And then I got another strong feeling to go upstairs in the museum and to see two other Manuel Acosta paintings already on display. There was another curator standing there, Ivan Calderon, who showed me where they were. He asked if I was interested in Acosta, and I said we were in the process of donating one of his works. And when Ivan asked to see it, I showed him a very small image on my phone and said the title, Maria del Carmen Rodriguez. "Oh," he said, "I actually knew her. My family grew up across the street from her home, and her 3 daughters look just like her." I was like, "You know the family now?" I exclaimed. "Of course," he said. "Her grandson is an artist with a gallery a few blocks away from the museum." I was truly stunned by this discovery. "Wow, could you connect us?" I said. And within minutes, we were texting Stephen Ingle, the grandson, and showing him the photo of his grandmother's painting. Now, everything moved quickly, right in the 2-day time frame that we had. By the next day, my sisters and I were taking the portrait to Creative Kids, shown here, this huge arts education space that Stephen and his wife Andrea founded. This is a picture of Stephen and Ivan Calderon and his wife Andrea. As it turned out, the story of the painting was a big one in Stephen's family, and the day that his mother and 2 aunts went to buy it and came home most disappointed, he remembered, because they made martinis and talked about it for an hour. They knew this Acosta work existed somewhere, yet the family believed that they would probably never see it again. Once we all met, we found more intersections of people and places in El Paso culture and arts and community. And somehow, a local paper heard of the story and plans to run it on Christmas Day. The journalist who wrote the piece is Dave Acosta, who happens to be the great-great-nephew of the painter, Manuel Acosta. So all our stories were woven together, and Maria del Carmen Rodriguez is where she belongs now, home with her family. Yay! This creative image is one I love, depicting this interconnected web of guides who hold Earth and all creatures. And when I see it, I imagine a voice that seems to say, "It is being woven." Pay attention to your thread, join it with others, and be part of this mysterious weaving unfolding. I can't explain all the ways the mystery of this painting was resolved and didn't know that I would find the family. It was my hope. It was a dream that came to be. It is being woven. All I knew was to follow that clear inner prompting and to listen to a presence that guided me on. We are almost at that moment of solstice transition, sun standing still, lengthening nights tipping over to lengthening days. We might stop and listen on Tuesday, look at the stars and moon on the longest night of the year. And we could witness the sunrise on Wednesday, that day which begins to lengthen. We might create a ritual moment to seek a wider presence and tune in to our own intuitive wisdom. So much can happen in the weaving, the mystery of living and dying, the mystery of attending to new experience, the mystery of relationships aligning, which will change the course of family histories. Be attuned to stillness and all that presence might bring. And be prepared for some surprises. Amen.
I love that story. Thank you for sharing. Great. Cold, dark nights beckon me outside, especially if it's snowing. I'm far more likely to walk on a winter night than on a beach or on a beautiful fall afternoon. My partner would rather stay in his PJs and slippers on those cold nights, so I'm usually alone. Silence surrounds me. I'm left to my own thoughts to ponder my place in our world. Starting this December, All Souls now has a Share the Plate approach to our Sunday collections. This means that a different recipient organization will be featured for 1 month, with a 50-50 split of all non-pledge contributions from each of the weekly offerings. Our December recipient is Miriam's Kitchen, a local Washington, D.C. organization focused on ending chronic homelessness through both direct support and advocacy. They do critical work in the neighborhood and across the city. If you're joining us through Zoom, the link in the chat will take you to our donation page. If you're in the sanctuary, you can use the QR code on the back of the pew in front of you. We encourage you to give generously in support of Miriam's Kitchen, as well as to support the ongoing mission and ministries of All Souls. Thank you.
I invite you to create a moment of solstice, quiet calm this week, whether it be on Tuesday night in the longest night of the year, or with sunrise on Wednesday morning. A moment where you tune in to your own presence, perhaps the presence of a guide, and you listen for the song that is yours to sing. Go in peace, practice love. Amen.